Hey, what's up? Well, I'm finally back, and the reason why it took an extra day to make part two of what I really wanted to be one video, but you see, the video ended up way too long. So I decided to make another video with part two because I had two packages coming in, but one of them took an extra day. They thought it would come in the next day after Hugo. You see, there's Hugo. I decided to put a winter hat on him, like Lars on Rocket Power. So that, because, you see, there's the other hats. I almost couldn't find these. It's very frustrating when you buy stuff and then you put it somewhere and then you can't figure out where it is. Well, yeah, he looks cute for Easter, wearing a light blue hat, one of the few Easter colored hats. I think it's supposed to be winter blue, but it's kind of a turquoise color. As I've stated before, there's this thing where, I don't know why, but they just associate Latino or Hispanic males with green and turquoise. Like avocados and turquoise. But, so I put him in a hat. He's still got his cute little short hairdo. But because the hat is in the only color associated with infant boys, now granted, girls wear it as they get older, because his hat is, the color associated with boys, there should be no doubt as to what gender he's supposed to be, in my mind. And, here's the other two. So there's Hugo, Darla, and Sammy. And so I didn't put a hat on Sammy, but I thought about it. So what I want to do today and get it over with before this video becomes 30 minutes long, I want to do my unboxing. Let's see, without showing my address. This one is in a little white box, which I'm not wanting to show the barcode either, because someone could possibly scan that barcode on screen and find out where I live from that barcode. And so I'm going to begin the process of cutting into the package. Okay, so there's one side, and then, let's see, there's the other side. For some reason, the packages rarely come in on the expected date. They're usually ahead of or behind it by one day. Occasionally it'll be the same date. But let's see. Why isn't that opening? See, that side is open. Probably because I would have to slit this. I should have brought a knife. Okay, so without showing the tracking number or my address, this is the package. The long-awaited package. And let's see. This one comes in tissue wrap. And she is a little girl. And as you can see, one of the reasons I put the hat on Hugo is because for some strange reason, it appeared as though his black hair was dyeing this brush black. I don't know how that happened, but because I didn't want to take a chance, with him dyeing something black, I decided to just put a hat on him to try to, you know what I'm saying, try to protect everything from his hair. And the fact that he doesn't have much hair sticking out from the hat reinforces the fact that he has a short haircut, and it also tames his hair. Okay, so this doll is clearly a little girl, okay? And what makes her special, other than red hair, is that she is one of the smaller characters. You see, what I like about this series, you know, these soft-bodied dolls, is that unlike, you know, with other types of dolls, the posable dolls, they could make the bodies in varying sizes more easily. You know, the heads could still be the same. Because as I've stated before, you know, the human head is just something that doesn't really, it's probably varies the least across the lifespan. You know, it's born pretty close to the size that it will ever be. I mean, when you're born, you know, your head is not that much smaller, as I've stated before, than the rest of your body. And the growth of the head, you know, just gradually tapers off by adolescence to the point of 0 size change after age 12. So the head doesn't really change that much, but the body does. Okay, and so with a cloth body doll, it's very easy to make them varying heights, even if their heads are more or less the same size. So that you end up with little kids and slightly bigger kids. You see, with a kid core doll or a Barbie doll, you know, they'd have to make a whole different body. And if they're going to make a whole different body, they probably want to have more variation than just a couple of inches in human form, or just a slight difference. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you're going to make an entirely different body, you know, you're going to want to have a baby, then a school-age child, and they usually jump ahead to high school age for some reason. It's almost like middle childhood just doesn't exist in the doll world. And neither does boyhood, by and large. So, there's our little doll. I hope she doesn't dye this comb or this brush red. I mean, it's really a brush, but it's more like a comb. So, there's our little dolly that's a redhead girl. Okay, and that's one thing that makes her special, being red-haired and being little. And her name is Sweet Lee, which I think it's sweet but silly. Okay, and the other thing I'm going to do with her, I'm going to put a hair tie. And because she's wearing green, white, and kind of a reddish orange, let's see, what color should I use? I would say perhaps she is a character for orange. Perfect candidate for orange. Okay? And she's a redhead, so it'll match her hair nicely. Okay, so I just decided that at spur of the moment. Okay, so there is Sweet, and I'm instead of Lee, because I don't really like the name Lee for her, I see her as more of a Leah, L-E-A-H. Sweet Leah, okay, because she's too feminine to have a name that could be a boy or a girl, okay? And so, Sweet Leah took a day longer to come in, but here she is. She's one of the smaller ones, and there's maybe a few other characters that are shorter like that. IQ, you know, the Asian girl is shorter, you know, probably because she's Asian. And there's Little Kid. So there's Sweet Leah. And so if I never got any more dolls, I would have 2 boys and 2 girls. And one of the boys are Hispanic or Latino, and you have like 3 white characters, you know, a redhead girl and a blonde. And they're both wearing floral print jammies of sort. They don't have their top. So there's Sweet Leah, and they each have Velcro so that they can put their hands together, they can hold hands with another doll, or they could hold their felt accessories back in the day if they still had them. So there's Sweet Leah, Hugo. You know, they were supposed to be one day apart. And she has the prettiest bright blue eyes. And so they're all ready for Easter and cold weather, which is what we have. Cool weather on Easter. That's what I say. Easter can be cooler than Christmas in some cases. And so there's Sweet Leah. Would I like to have more dolls? Of course I would. I wish I could have the whole series. But unfortunately, that would cost a pretty penny. And, you know, sometimes you just really have to do the math. You know, there was this one person with a listing for both of these, and I was tempted. I was very tempted to buy them. But when I did the math, I found out buying him and buying her would cost me a little less in the long run. And so, you know, there we have it. I got to put a hair tie in her hair and a winter hat on him. So, you know, there's our dolls. And as I stated before, I'd like to have more, but, you know, I really have to stop somewhere. It's like, you know, once you buy more, it's like you buy more and more and more. And, you know, once I get one boy and one girl per boy or vice versa, you know, I like to have a stopping point when I get some diversity in hair color, some diversity in race. I try to convince myself that I don't need, you know, all the other varieties. Because what I would end up with, you know, I mean, I could have the whole series. But what I would end up with would be a collection like any other doll collection where the vast majority are girls. Okay, and that's not exactly what I was going for. So, you know, I'm glad Sweet Leah is in, and I'll go ahead and post this video.